October 12, 1492, is of enormous significance in Western history. It is the day when explorer Christopher Columbus completed his journey across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in the New World. What Columbus actually reached on that October day was an island he named San Salvador that is now part of the Bahamas. Columbus believed he had found a new route to India, and described the peoples he met as Indians. No matter. His momentous discovery launched European exploration and colonization of the American continents. This marked the first known European contact with the Americas. The island upon which he landed was known by the indigenous Lucayan people as Guanahani. The modern identity of Guanahani remains a subject of historical debate, and over the years, multiple Bahamian islands have been suggested as candidates for Guanahani, including Sanama Cay, Rum Cay, Grand Turk Island, and the Plana Cays. However, the most popular theory is that Guanahani is the island today known as San Salvador. Previously called Waddling Island, the island's name was officially changed to San Salvador in 1925 to recognize Columbus's first landing. The Lucayan people of the Bahamas were part of the broader Taíno culture, which had a well-established society with defined social structures, a strong government, and a trade network through which Taíno communities exchanged goods. They exported and imported such things as pottery, baskets, tools, jewelry fashioned from available resources, and wood carvings. Though the Taíno were friendly upon first encountering Columbus, they soon led armed resistance to Spanish efforts to kill them, enslave them, or assimilate them. Columbus took several Lucayans as slaves, and subsequent colonizers continued the practice. In less than 30 years, through enslavement, murder, and disease, the Lucayan people were essentially wiped out of existence. In modern times, indigenous activists have launched organized efforts to preserve the language, culture, and arts of the indigenous Caribbeans that survived the European colonization started by Columbus. During his lifetime, Columbus led a total of 4 expeditions to the New World, exploring various Caribbean islands, the Gulf of Mexico, and the South and Central American mainlands, but he never accomplished his original goal, a Western Ocean route to the great cities of Asia. Columbus died in Spain in 1506 without realizing the scope of what he did achieve. He had discovered for Europe the New World, whose riches over the next century would help make Spain the wealthiest and most powerful nation on earth. He also unleashed centuries of brutal colonization, the transatlantic slave trade, and the deaths of millions of Native Americans from murder and disease. Today, Columbus Day is a federal holiday celebrated in the United States every year on the second Monday in October. The holiday continues to evoke discussions about the age of exploration and the transformations it provoked, including the injustices done to indigenous peoples. But for most Americans, it provides a long weekend to enjoy with their families during the early days of autumn. Columbus Day is the annual U.S. commemoration of explorer Christopher Columbus landing in the New World, at San Salvador Island, also known as Waitling Island, today part of the British Bahamas, on October 12, 1492. Columbus was not the first European to cross the Atlantic successfully. Viking sailors are believed to have established a short-lived settlement in Newfoundland sometime in the 11th century, and scholars have argued for a number of other possible pre-Columbian landings. Columbus, however, initiated the lasting encounter between Europeans and the indigenous peoples of the Western Hemisphere. A number of nations celebrate this encounter with annual holidays. Among them are Discovery Day in the Bahamas and Colombia, Dia de la Hispanidad, Hispanic Day in Spain, and Dia de la Raza, Day of the Race, in much of Latin America. In 1971, Congress moved the U.S. holiday from October 12 to the second Monday in October to afford workers a long holiday weekend. In the United States, Columbus Day is typically a celebration of Italian and Italian-American cultural heritage, Columbus generally being considered a native of Genoa, Italy. In the late 15th century, Portuguese sailors dominated the effort to establish a sea route between Europe and India by circumnavigating Africa. It was with an eye toward outflanking the Portuguese that Isabella I of Spain authorized an expedition in which Columbus would sail west from Spain, aiming for India. This, of course, presumed that the world was round. Many educated people already understood this. Columbus' achievement rests instead in his success in persuading Isabella to finance a dangerous and speculative expedition. Columbus set sail with 90 men in August 1492 on 3 ships: the Santa Maria, the Nina, and the Pinta. After sailing west for 5 weeks, the expedition reached land on October 12. Columbus believed he had found a new route to India, hence the use of the word Indians to describe the peoples he met. Columbus would make 3 subsequent voyages and would die believing he had found a new route to India and Asia, and not, in fact, the gateway to North and South America. Because the United States evolved out of British colonization rather than the Spanish claims of Columbus and his successors, the United States for many years did not celebrate Columbus' discovery, although ceremonies were held on the 300th and 400th anniversaries of his first landing. Italian immigrants were the first to celebrate the holiday annually in U.S. cities where they had settled in large numbers, in part as a celebration of their heritage, since Columbus is considered Italian. Both New York 1866 and San Francisco 1868 claim the first such celebration. In 1937, President Franklin D. Roosevelt proclaimed Columbus Day a national holiday, then held every October 12. Many localities, including Berkeley, California, have replaced Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day to honor the original inhabitants of the islands where Columbus landed. South Dakota renamed the holiday Native American Day, and Alabama celebrates a combination Columbus Day and American Indian Heritage Day. Hawaii calls it Discovery Day. U.S. federal government offices close on Columbus Day, as do most banks. Schools typically remain open, as do most American businesses. New York City, Denver, and many other cities continue to host festive Columbus Day parades, more than 500 years since the historic appearance of 3 ships off the coast of a small Caribbean island. Thank you for joining us today. Share this video and subscribe for more deep dives into Hidden America documentaries. Also drop a comment about your thoughts in the comment section.